My work experience was at Kino Film Festival in Manchester. My role was to be part of the social media team. Basically, I had to come in with my own equipment, which could be anything, but all I have is my trusty camera and tripod. And basically, I had to film the events that were taking place. So that involved getting interviews with clients. Not clients, customers, sorry, I meant customers. So the people come in to watch the films, get testimonies from them about the film festival, because they were really proud of the diverse range of films that they got from like all over the world, basically. So any feedback on what they thought of the films, what they thought of the festival as a whole. Basically had to get those testimonials, as well as just get really nice shots like, of the venue itself, so it looked like as appealing as possible. This has taught me a lot about, it's not a problem. I used to always get really anxious like talking to people that I don't know, like when it's like a complete stranger and I'm in the position where I want something of them. It's like I've got something to prove, but I found out from doing this that more often than not, people are happy to like share, especially if it was like a positive experience, which in this case it was. I know now that if I'm ever in that situation again, I could probably attempt to talk to 5 times as many people to get a nice variety of footage.
So people skills.
Testimonials.
You've gained people skills.
Gained people skills, definitely.
Cool. Based on what you've experienced in this task, what are your future career plans?
I still very much want to be either a director or an editor. Although I found out just how far I can push this camera, because the lighting, there was so many like different like lighting conditions like throughout the day. Sometimes I was doing days, sometimes I was doing nights. So I managed to like experiment, and so I think I can do cinematography. Like better than what I originally thought. So I think if anything, it's opened up some more doors, really. But directing and editing are still definitely two of my preferred options.
So do you find that doing this helped you make more decisions on the fly, kind of as a director would have to do?
Yeah, definitely. I had to think like pretty quick sometimes, because especially when it comes to like the testimonials, like there's only like a brief window when they've gone from the screening, or like if it was a workshop, especially actually, because the people who came in for like the little workshops where they'd have like an expert in, they would come and then leave straight away. So I'd have to know the times that they were going to be there, and then be like, right, they're down now in the little foyer before they go home. Now let's get this person over by that wall, and then we have to change it up for another person, so we'll go over that way.
In terms of future work, did any scenarios or situations crop up where, if they were to happen again in the future, you'd be better prepared to deal with them?
I think next time I'd definitely bring a laptop, that's for sure, because I spent a lot of time at home going through my dailies, when that time could have been spent in the dead time there, because there was quite a bit of dead time where after the first day, when you've already got all your peripheral shots of the venue itself, there was like nothing else to really do that was new to get until like the screenings had ended, and then you could get more interviews. So it would have been good if during that hour and a half period of the screening I could have just had my laptop there going through all my dailies, and then that would have saved me a lot of time later when I could have just been editing, like instead of the daily checking eating into the editing. So definitely taught me a valuable lesson of managing your time more efficiently, because when it comes to university projects, you have like all the time in the world to do them, and it's up to you. Like you've got so many hours to crack on with the work, whereas when you're working professionally, like sometimes every minute counts. So it's definitely taught me to take advantage of that fact.
Do you feel like, having done this work experience, you've actually gained more sort of confidence in collaborating with other filmmakers? Like, did that happen?
Well, yeah. There was other volunteers for a start. So a lot of them were camera people. Most of them were camera people, to be honest. Unfortunately, there weren't any like sound people who had their own sound equipment, but basically there'd be 4 people there each day on camera, and we had to like decide what we were going to be filming. So on one of the days, because I had I was the only one who had a tripod. Everyone else was more like everyone was like more point and shoot sort of. Oh, wow. I mean, this is point and shoot too, but I had a tripod. So I was like, well, since I've got the tripod, why don't I get like the static shots of like things on the main stage, because on that day there was like musicians performing and stuff, so I could get those shots, and then other people could get the more like close up like camera movement shots sort of thing, where but I'd get the nice, good, establishing, stable ones. So that was a good way to collaborate with other camera people, like multi-camera situations. And then we had a group chat where we'd all put our dailies into, and then whoever was editing, I did some editing. I think there were about 3 people who edited. I was one of them, and basically I would go through everybody's dailies that they uploaded. We all agreed to only upload our best shots though. Like we were like, let's be scrutinous with what we've done. If there was a shot that was a bit rubbish, let's just not put it on, because otherwise people just have way too much stuff to go through. So yeah, good practice in terms of that, of being scrutinous of your own work, and yeah, because that's what you'd have to do. You'd have to, in the industry, you do sometimes have like reams of footage that an editor would have to go through, from like people that wasn't their own footage that they shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of communication was required, and working with other people's material.
So it's given you quite a good. Well, it's fed into both the actual shooting stage and the post-production stage as well. So, like you said, directing and editing being your 2 sort of main callings.
Yeah.
That seems that work experience has actually managed to hit both of those things on the head. So
I remember being very proactive in organising the people that I was there when the guy who was like in charge of us wasn't around for the days when I was in.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense, because he wasn't there every day, because like we're all volunteers at the end of the day.
So you took charge out of necessity.
Yeah, so I was like, right guys, what we're going to do? That's like a director quality, I would say, to be able to, like, when you've got to like get everyone else like, on the same page. Like, you've got to keep everyone singing from the same hymn sheet and knowing what they're doing. If the director of a movie isn't good, then no matter how good everybody else is, the movie won't work, because the director is the one that needs to make sure that what everyone's doing is working to a goal.